The greatest thing about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back in the day was they were everywhere. You had the cartoon show, you had the movies, you had the action figures, you had the video games, you had the food products of those disgusting mutagen candy paste tubes, you had the Crunch-a-Bunga crackers, and you had the infamous and personally beloved Turtle Pies, which I wish would return at some point, but sadly never seemed to. There was really no limit to how much you could love this franchise. It was everywhere. You know, lunchboxes, party favors, sleeping bags, toothbrushes, clothing, you name it, Ninja Turtles were on it. And even though the action figures from Playmates were my favorite part of the fandom, there was a lot of really great Ninja Turtles games too. But what was my favorite Ninja Turtles game as a little kid during Turtle Mania? Was it one of the NES games? Those were all pretty great, and I owned the first two as a kid, and I played the hell out of them, but no, neither one was my favorite Turtles game quite. Well, was it the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis ones? Those were pretty good. Well, I didn't own those as a kid, and when most of those came out, I was kind of out of Turtle Mania already. Well, maybe it was one of the board games. Remember the Pizza Power game? That was a game almost everybody owned. Well, I didn't own it, so it wasn't that. And it certainly couldn't have possibly been a modern board game based on the classic franchise like this Turtles Monopoly right here. I didn't own a Game Boy, I didn't own the Tiger Electronic, I didn't own the pizza tossing bingo game or anything. So what was my favorite Ninja Turtles game as a kid? What if I told you it was a game called Turtles Czechoslovakia? Your reaction would probably be, wait, what? Or maybe also or instead, man, you just made that up right now. And the answer is no, I didn't. This is actually a game about 30 years old. And who made it? Well, my brother made it. Why is it called Turtles Czechoslovakia? Well, he probably just learned about Czechoslovakia in school and was so proud of the fact that he could say such a big word, he just started slapping it on everything to show off. There's no other reason for this game to be called Turtles Czechoslovakia. It's not like some rare European exclusive NES game or anything that you might have gotten your hopes up thinking it may have been. So what is this game and how do you play it? Well, you grab an assortment of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figures from the original Playmates line. Doesn't really matter if they're heroes or villains, and you just line them up on a staircase. Find a staircase in your house, and on each step put a different character. You're going to fight your way up that staircase, starting with the bottom step, and every time you beat one of those characters in a fight, you move up a step until you make it to the top of the staircase and win the game. So you pick whatever character you want. It doesn't have to be one of the turtles. It can be anyone. It can even be a turtle variant like Shell Slam and Mike or something. And you sort of act out battles with each character as you move your way up. If you beat them, you move up to the next step and fight the next guy. If you lose the battle, you move back down and fight the previous guy, sort of like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! It's kind of funny that me and my brother invented this style of fighting game before we even actually played the tournament fighter genre. This structure of character towers would become pretty commonplace in a lot of tournament fighters later on, like Mortal Kombat. And we didn't even know about that kind of stuff yet. And honestly, I don't think Mortal Kombat even existed yet when we invented this. It's kind of funny to think that we invented a Turtles fighting game years before they actually ripped off Street Fighter and made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters. So the idea of the game is kind of silly when you realize you're just acting it out. You're just making the fights happen the way you want them to happen. So you theoretically could just win the game in one go. But, you know, we were creative back then, and we tried to pretend we were really playing a video game or something. And, you know, that was the NES days, so we were pretty used to losing in games. So we would actually make it difficult. We'd make it like, at some point you get to some guy and he's just really hard, and you're really trying to beat him, but you lose and you get knocked back. And you just keep waiting for that chance to get back to him so you can try fighting him again and see if you can progress up the staircase. I believe there was even some sort of continue system where you had limited continues probably, and I don't think we always beat the entire staircase. But if you did, you got to that final battle and you beat it, even though it's completely fake and you decided the outcome of all these fights, it felt like you really accomplished something when you got your character on top of that staircase. There was also other difficulties, if you want to say, because the house we grew up in had so many staircases. It had a 2-step staircase that led from the entry to the living room, about a 4-step staircase that led from the living room to the dining room, about a 6-step staircase that went from the rec room to the kitchen, and about an 8 to 10-step staircase that went from the dining room to the upstairs hallway. So say you wanted to play on easy mode, you would play on the 4-step staircase. Medium would be the 6-step, and then hard would be the 8 to 10-step one. And then there was a deluxe version where you'd start on the little 2-step one, work your way up to the 4-step, then to the 6-step, then to the big staircase. And that would be the ultimate satisfying one if you could get to the top of that. And the difficulty of the battles would be determined by how big the staircase was. So if you were playing the 4-step one, they'd be pretty easy battles. There were some cases where we showed some other kids this game and got them into it. There was this one kid that my mom babysat for a little while who was a total demon seed brat. I couldn't stand him. Named Colton, and I believe I mentioned him earlier in a video where I was talking about King Lionheart in my Turtle Talk Toys reviews. And he was just this horrible little brat with awful breath, and I remember he got into it because he was always, buzzing around me and my brother, and we were playing it in the kitchen staircase, and he wanted to know what it was, and we taught him the rules and everything, and he picked King Lionheart. That was the character he played as, and he wanted to do it. Now, me and my brother would make it realistic, as I said, and we would make it like we lose to certain guys, and certain fights are difficult and everything. The enemies had attacks, like special moves they could do and all. But when this kid played, King Lionheart was just unstoppable. The other guys didn't move, the opponents didn't move, and he would just flail King Lionheart around and go pia, 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 and he would just beat them all. And when he was done, he would chuck our toys down on the hard hallway at the bottom of the staircase. And we kept telling him, like, don't do it, you're gonna break the damn toy. He's like, don't break our turtles. Yeah, so he's just one of those kids because he just has to win everything, I guess. And I can understand why, because you could easily look at it and be like, well, why would you make yourself lose something that you're just making up? But it kind of created this sort of fun to it that, I don't know, playing pretend was a lot of fun for me as a kid. I don't know why. It was just, even if it wasn't going in my favor, like pretending something that I made up is real was always exciting. We also showed these two kids named Robbie and Jude who we used to hang out with, they were siblings, and they used to come over and sleep over sometimes, and I know we showed it to them because I remember once we played it in their house on their basement staircase, and they always had more Turtles figures than us, so you could go absolutely crazy with theirs. So yeah, that's pretty much everything there is to say about this weird little game me and my brother made up when I was a little kid back in like 1990 or 1991 or whenever. I just kind of wanted to take you back to that time where you're a little kid and you just can't get enough of this franchise, this thing that you love, and it's inspired by other things you love, and you're just using your creativity to just constantly come up with new, unique things involving the stuff you love. And it's one of those things that I'm sure a lot of people did when they were kids. I'm sure plenty of kids pretended they were playing video games with their toys. I mean, we would do that a lot too. We would like set up a level with, pillows and boxes and other toys we had, and just set up a little side scroller level and make one of our turtles have to go through it. We did a lot of weird stuff. There was even one point where my sisters were playing with us and the Turtles one day, and we like reenacted the entire story of And Then There Were None with Ninja Turtle characters. It was weird. We did a lot of weird stuff with the toys, and this was just one of the ones that really stands out, and I would love to hear other people's little crazy things they did with their action figures. Weird, quote unquote, out of the norm ways of playing with toys they played with them. Make believe things you did, pretending it was a show or a video game or a movie or something, because that was always the stuff that was the most fun. I think that's why I really love action figures so much, is because not only is it this cool, awesome looking character you get to look at and study all the work that went into it, but it's just an avenue for creativity and imagination. And that's some of the stuff I loved most about the things I loved as a kid, was just looking at them and getting my own creative ideas and creative juices running based on how much I loved this product. So I hope you enjoyed this weird little trip down memory lane for me, and hope you could relate in some way or at least find it entertaining. So I'll have some more videos coming up soon, definitely some more turtle stuff. So be excellent to yourselves and party on, dudes. Do all the liking and subscribing and the sharing and the bell stuff.